Okay, in this video, we're going to be looking at solving two-step equations, and these problems come from section 2.3, but I believe they're in your first homework assignment. Depending on when you see this video, we may have already transitioned over to the new book, so these numberings on the section numbers may be a little bit different. Okay, problem number 1, 3x minus 1 equals 5. There's two things being done over here on the left-hand side of the equation. I've got the operation of multiplying by 3, and I also have the operation of subtracting 1. So I have to undo both of those. And the first thing I want to do is to get rid of that minus 1. We are working on order of operations backwards and in the opposite order. So your order of operations, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, says you do addition and subtraction last. But that's where we're going to start when we're solving the equations. And we undo the subtracting 1 by adding 1. So I get 3x equals 6, and then divide both sides of my equation by 3, and I get x equals 2. On problem 2, I need to get rid of that minus 6 first. So I do the opposite of subtracting 6, which is adding 6. So I add 6 to both sides of my equation and then divide both sides of my equation by negative 2. My answer here is negative 8. And problem 3, notice that over here on the right-hand side is where my variable is, and I need to get rid of the negative 5 and I need to get rid of the 20. The first part that I'm going to get rid of is the 20. So the inverse of adding 20 is subtracting 20. So I have negative 30 equals negative 5x. I'm going to divide both sides of my equation by negative 5, and I end up with x equals 6. That's supposed to be a 5. In problem 4, I want to get rid of this negative 6 first, so I'm going to add 6 to both sides of the equation. And again, remember that you're just looking at these two numbers here to be sure those are opposites and they're going to cancel out. And they do. So this will leave me with 3x equals 18. I divide both sides of my equation by 3 and I get x to be 6. Okay, problem 5. I have a 6 and I have a minus 2 that I need to get rid of. And I'm going to get rid of the 6 first. Now, a common mistake here is that students will look at this subtraction sign right here and say, oh, the opposite of subtraction is addition. And they will want to add 6 to both sides of the equation, but you're not supposed to do that. Right? The opposite of subtracting 2x is adding 2x. I don't want to get rid of the 2x, I want to get rid of the 6. So in order to do that, I subtract 6 from both sides. Now what I really have here is when this cancels out, I really have 0 minus 2x. And 0 minus 2x is negative 2x. Now most people, including me, tend to skip this part right here, but if you need to put it in, you can. Right? When you cancel those 6's out, you get negative 2x. Divide both sides of the equation by negative 2, and x equals positive 8. On problem 6, we want to get rid of the negative 8 first, so we add 8 to both sides of the equation. Those cancel, so 4x equals 20. Divide both sides by 4, and x equals 5. Okay, problem 7, I need to get rid of this subtraction first, so I'm going to add 5 to both sides. So I have x divided by 2 equals 6. Now I need to undo this division. The opposite of division is multiplication. So multiply both sides of the equation by 2 and you get x to equal 12. Problem 8, we're going to get rid of this 3 first. You always want to get rid of the number that's being added or subtracted first. And this will cancel out, so you have x divided by 5 equals negative 10. Then you're going to multiply both sides of your equation by 5. That's cancel. so x equals negative 50. Okay, problem 9, I'm going to add 6 to both sides of my equation. So negative x divided by 2 equals 7. And from here, I've got a couple of different things that I can do. I can get rid of the 2 and then get rid of the negative. I could get rid of the negative and then get rid of the 2, or I could do it both at one time. And it doesn't really matter. What I'm going to do is to get rid of the 2 first. So I'm going to multiply both sides of my equation by 2. And over here on the left-hand side, those will cancel, and I have negative x equals 14. So x equals negative 14. On problem 10, I need to get rid of the negative 4 and that minus 2. I'm going to get rid of that negative 4 first, so I'm going to add 4. Again, we can see that those numbers here are opposite, so adding 4 to both sides gives me negative 4 equals negative 2x. Don't forget that negative. And then divide both sides by negative 2, and I get x to be positive 2. Okay, problem 11, we're going to get rid of that minus 1 first. So the inverse of subtracting 1 is adding 1. Negative 16 plus 1 is negative 15. Then I'm going to divide both sides by negative 5. And I get x to be positive 3. Problem 12, I'm going to add 3 to both sides of my equation. So I get 2x equals negative 1. Then I'm going to divide both sides by 2, and I get x to be negative 1/2.